Yo, what is up guys? It is Esports Content Entertainment coming at you guys with another video here today. And in today's video, we are going to be talking about G2 Esports, Carlos Ocelote, and Andrew Tate. So, Carlos put a video up on his Twitter page where in the video, he was just partying up with some guys celebrating a G2 Esports accomplishment. But in this video, it was revealed that one of the guys Carlos was partying with was Andrew Tate. Now, I'm gonna be completely honest with you guys here. I don't know too much about Andrew Tate. Now, the reason why I even know of this guy's name is because apparently this guy got in trouble for something he had did, and a lot of the big social media websites ended up banning his accounts actually. And then apparently he fled the United States because of some other charges that came up. But I'll know more about Andrew Tate coming up this Wednesday for the Cloud9 podcast. So as you guys already know, the Cloud9 podcast this week was going to be focusing on the LEC. Now, this video that Carlos posted on his Twitter page sparked an insane amount of controversy. It was absolutely insane to see the people defending this, the people sort of going against this as well. It was insane yesterday if you are a fan of LoL Esports. Then Carlos does a response tweet actually where he says, "You will basically not police my friendships. I will party with whoever the fuck I want." That's literally pretty much what he said. That also didn't go very well with a lot of people. There's so many different takes, so many different sides people have taken on this situation. Now, personally for me, as you guys already know, I've literally known of G2 ever since they were in the challenger scene for EU. I've been a G2 fan literally pretty much ever since they came into the EU LCS, you know? And this is something I want to say to you guys before we cover what's in this article from Upcomer actually, is what Carlos needs to understand is nobody is going to be able to police the friendships you have. You're a grown-ass man. You can do whatever the fuck you want, honestly. Come on, that's honesty right there. Nobody should tell you who the fuck you should be hanging out with, who the hell you can and can't talk to. But remember, he is the CEO of pretty much one of the most biggest esports organizations in the world, you know? So his actions and who he aligns with does have an indirect effect on his company, you know? So that is something that Ocelote needs to understand. You can do whatever you want, but if you're representing a company, that comes into a different situation though. You know, and then people started bringing up the Saudi Arabia money that's been flooding into esports, that Riot is owned by Tencent. What these other idiots didn't understand is those are all still very bad things, right? But that doesn't make this any less bad, you know? Now, for me personally, I truly don't give a fuck, if I'm being completely honest here. I know you guys probably care about this more than me, but this does involve esports, and it does involve League of Legends, and it does involve one of my favorite esports teams, so obviously I'm gonna cover it. So, let's go over into this in full. So, G2 Esports suspends CEO Ocelote for partying with Andrew Tate. Ocelote openly stood by his actions. G2 Esports CEO Carlos Ocelote Santiago is under fire for appearing to party with controversial red pill influencer Andrew Tate. In a video of G2 celebrating a win posted on Ocelote's account, Andrew Tate can be seen within the crowd smoking a cigar. The esports community immediately noticed Tate popping champagne in the video, condemning the team for associating with such an offensive person who has been banned from almost all social media platforms for multiple violations of community guidelines, including hate speech policies. Now, there was one person that was chiming in on this, and that was Frostgaren. And Frostgaren, out of all the people in this world, shouldn't be saying shit. Not only did Frostgaren openly tweet some racist shit. Remember when she tweeted, "Oh, this looks all blindingly white," or when she ruined G4 TV, or when she called Riot Games misogynistic, sexist, homophobic, but then she goes and works for them because she needs a job and she doesn't want to be homeless. Froscarian is the last person I would take advice from in terms of morality. And then you had a lot of people in the scene taking this like moral stance and some shit like that. It's like, okay, you can criticize Carlos for what he just did, but don't be taking this like moral high ground. Come on, like we're not fucking saints here. You know what I mean? So this was the video right here. I'll show you guys right now. I'm pretty sure the audio's on.
Thank you, brother.
There's Andrew Tate right there.
Right behind it.
There you guys go. That's the video. As you guys can clearly see. I don't know why it stopped right there. Okay, but it doesn't matter. That's the video right there. And then this person replies, ha ha ha. Imagine openly being friends with a sex trafficker the entire internet hates and trying to flex about it. Ocelote did not back down. However, stating that nobody should police his friendships, the tweet was met with anger from esports fans and professionals alike, who became even angrier at Ocelote's flippant behavior. Many pointed out that G2 would also suffer from Ocelote's decision, since many would associate the organization with Tate's misogynistic behaviors. This was the Carlos tweet right here. Nobody will ever be able to police my friendships. I draw my line here. I party with whoever the fuck I want. Ashley Kane replied to him, people will not be able to police another person's friendship. However, people will be able to feel disappointed by that person's choice of friendship. The initiative to double down on publicizing it, people will be able to judge you and consequently G2 for it. See, that's the thing, is you can do whatever you want. Ocelote can do whatever the fuck he wants. I mean, let's not take some moral high ground here with all of you guys too watching this video. You guys are also probably friends with people that you probably shouldn't be friends with because of things you probably know about them or have heard about them. But you're friends with them because you genuinely think they're probably a good person, or they've probably told you certain things in a certain way that you kind of come around to their, their side. And I'm not judging anyone. I'm also not judging Carlos for his decisions or whatever, because, we're all flawed people. We make mistakes, and that's just life, But if you're doing that in a public eye with a person who's not very well liked, who's been in a lot of trouble recently, that is going to reflect on G2, and this is going to potentially have lingering repercussions for his actions, That's just going to be what it is, People are really, really sensitive nowadays, and seeing stuff like that is very damaging to a brand, right? Now, the thing here people need to understand is this will blow over at some point. Remember the whole Cloud9 LS situation? That blowed over. A lot of the stuff will genuinely blow over with enough time. I mean, we still have, about 2 weeks left to get into the 2022 World Championship? I mean, let's be honest here. This will blow over at a certain period of point in time. People will forget about it. But they won't. See, the thing is that people will move on from this, but they won't forget it. And that's the thing, is will this really have a lingering effect on G2? It depends on what G2 do about Ocelote. Apparently, they are going to be suspending him, actually. So then Medic replied to Carlos saying, there's no way you didn't predict this reaction. You posted a video partying with a known misogynist who calls women property. It's misguided at best, and engagement bait most likely. This is fucking low, man. Party with who you want, but expect people to judge you for it. Oh, God. I mean, Carlos has been the guy to do some edgy shit. He had to have known that doing this would have got this reaction. I mean, let's be honest here. He knew there's no way you didn't know this was gonna happen. There's no way. I gotta agree with Medic there. Like, come on, he knew this was gonna happen. That no one's that stupid. G2 Esports became aware of what was going on and released a public statement. The organization apologized, also announcing the CEO's 8-week suspension without pay. And then here is the official G2 Esports Twitter apology from the actual G2 Esports Twitter account, which we'll be going over. Hey G2 Army, last night we failed you. The actions of our CEO spoke a language in stark contrast with the values and the culture G2 lives by and strives for. and for that, we apologize. Since our creation, we have worked hard to build a safe and inclusive environment to enjoy esports. These are just small steps in the right direction we need to take as a company. We'll continue to do our best each and every day to improve ourselves and the industry at large. After internal discussion, Carlos and our supervisory board have mutually agreed that he will take 8 weeks of leave as CEO and suspend his earnings during that time. 8 weeks is essentially 2 months. So he can come back literally around December, But at that point, Worlds is already over, and if G2 happened to go far, he most likely can't travel with them. Oof, that sucks. Fuck. Oh my god. Thank you to the G2 Army and the esports community for holding us accountable. Okay, so I'm going to finish out the rest of this article, and then I'll just give you guys what else I'm going to be saying in this video, okay? So G2 apologizes for that. Carlos has now been suspended for about 8 weeks. 8 weeks being pretty much 2 months. He'll be back to the board around about early December, actually. Several in the community reacted to Ocelote's suspension only being 8 weeks long with anger. G2 has been attempting to inspire diversity in the esports scene, including signing all female teams for a variety of esports like Counter-Strike, Global Offensive. Ocelote's behavior in a situation undermines those efforts, something G2's female players definitely noticed with Calties making the following statement on Twitter. Oh, I'm pretty sure I mispronounced this. What, Calties? Okay. She says, "The recent events are very disappointing, and it saddens me that our CEO Carlos is associated with a person preaching misogyny and currently under investigation of human trafficking. People who share such beliefs make me feel genuinely unsafe in this world. Seeing everyone speak up and not accept such people into esports gives me relief that we are working towards something better. When I look at G2 Esports, I don't only see Carlos, I see the amazing staff that I have the privilege to work with and all of the lovely fans, some I've been lucky enough to meet in person. I can only speak from my own experience, but I want to believe Carlos does not share the beliefs of Andrew Tate, as he's been very supportive of our team since we joined. I hope that his recent actions do not reflect upon G2's players and staff." Yeah, because I remember a Target Monster streaming, and then everybody was asking him, "Hey, what do you think about Carlos and the Andrew Tate situation? What do you think about the Carlos and Andrew Tate situation?" And he was like, "What do you want me to do, insult him?" I mean, he is kind of the guy that pays them, so, Also, people are going to probably ask, like, how was he suspended if he's a CEO? Okay, so a lot of these esport orgs, they have investors, right? And with investors comes having people who get to make decisions for your company. Big companies like G2 Esports have a board of people. So yes, you are the founder and the CEO, but in terms of how this stuff is structured, how business is structured, people can choose to, boot you off the board. Kind of like, you guys ever watched the Tobey Maguire Spider-Man movie? The original one, right? Spider-Man 1, who was directed by Sam Raimi, starring Tobey Maguire. Remember there was that scene in the movie where Norman Osborn, who founded the company, was actually fired? Yeah, so if you have a board of people, they can fire the founder and CEO. But I'll cover something else about that in just a moment. I'm going to get to the rest of this article, okay? Just want to let you guys know that for anyone who, obviously didn't know that stuff. All right. Ocelote responds to backlash over Andrew Tate video. While he initially stubbornly stood by his friendship with Andrew Tate, Ocelote eventually tweeted his own apology as backlash continued. He stated that he failed to read this room right and has felt terrible about the decisions that have resulted from the video. Okay. So Carlos tweeted, "Many G2 fans were let down this weekend, which created confusion about what I stand for. It has always been my consistent target to stand for absolute equality of opportunity regardless of who you are or where you are from, which is what gaming is all about. Make no mistake, my life was full of learnings and I had my fair share of situations I got into in the past. I failed to read this room right, feel terrible about the discussions it created, and will stand up and accept the consequences." See, this is the thing though. Is he saying this because he kind of has to say this, or is he saying this because he truly feels bad? One will never know. I mean, only time will tell, and only his actions will tell that, obviously. That's just how I see it personally. It's the same way I treated the Ezra Miller situation. Ezra Miller apologized, but your actions have to tell me more about that apology. You see how I mean that there? Because I know some people are going to go, well, he apologized. Well, you don't really know if he actually truly meant it. I mean, I want to believe that he truly means this. I do. But then again, people have some things where they feel like they have to do them rather than genuinely feeling like they need to do them. It's a big difference there. So, after that, it's over. Okay, so G2 suspended Ocelote, okay? Now, what's really weird, and I'm not trying to move the goalpost here, I'm not trying to put this on another organization, but I have to bring this up. And people might get a little mad at me about it, and I don't give a fuck, because you guys know, I speak my mind, and if you think I'm some type of ist or ism or all this other shit, if you want to think that, you go right ahead. I don't give a fuck. So, Ocelote posted a video of him having fun with Andrew Tate. Andrew Tate, by all of you guys, deem as a bad person. Okay, cool, whatever. I'm not going to get into that. I'm not going to get into all that shit he's apparently in trouble for. Not the video for that, right? But you have TSM and Andy, right? Or called Reginald, right? So Reginald has been doing heinous shit to players, staff, for many years. TSM doesn't suspend Andy. Andy just gets to essentially walk free. I know Andy got in trouble. He'll have to take some fucking, some classes or some shit like that, right? But why is it that when Reginald did all this bad shit, he was barely reprimanded until this year and wasn't even suspended? I'm not moving the goalposts. I'm not. But this is kind of the same thing, The CEO gets in trouble for something, kind of doubles down on his bad behavior. The company gets fired. The company board fires him for a little bit, just takes a bit of a leave, But another guy also treats people like shit. Very well known he treats people like shit. He barely gets in trouble. Slap on the wrist kind of thing. That's why I find it very weird that people take this moral high ground, or people in the League of Legends esports space taking these moral high ground shit, because they're no better. I mean, they're just no better. But this is how I see it. Will Carlos bounce back after this? I mean, anybody can bounce back, guys. I know people are going to be kind of mad at him for a while, actually. The people will be mad at this guy for a long time. That's not going away, okay? But it's really just all about how you act after the situation, okay? Now, if he, in the situation, goes, okay, maybe there is something here, maybe I really shouldn't be friends with this guy, and he learns from it, you gotta give him the benefit of the doubt. There's other worse people in the world that you guys have condemned, and then they've, built themselves back up. It happens, right? So that's just what I'm going to say about it right now. I'm not going to speak about the Andrew Tate allegations or situation personally, because I just don't know that much about it, and I'm not going to say something if I'm not truly in the know about it. You guys know that I'll never truly speak about something unless I truly know what that person is in trouble for, because that's just how I work as a person, Warren, the person that you guys see on the Cloud9 podcast, tweeted this, actually. This is ridiculous, and he shouldn't apologize. If I was Carlos, I would retract my statement. This is another example how social media has way too much power to affect your own social, the complete opposite of what it was meant in the past. Okay. To be fair, I'll say this. I do agree with what Warren is saying. I do. Social media should really not have that big of an impact, But the problem here, and this is what Warren isn't understanding, is esports all comes from this kind of stuff, right? How it transitioned into getting a lot bigger. Because, yes, League of Legends is online, and they competed in IRL, right, for league teams, right? Makes sense. The problem here is most of how and why these teams are known and how big they really get is through social media, A lot of these big esport orgs you follow, a lot of their followers and a lot of people that end up becoming fans who don't initially just watch, come from social media. Now, since they promote heavily to social media, you have to kind of assume that a lot of their fans and a lot of people that love the organization, right, support the organization through social media and all other shit. Now, to be fair, all these likes, all these L ratios, all these retweets don't equivalent to money being spent on the organization. Let's make that perfectly clear, okay? But a lot of how they get a lot of pull is by their follower numbers on Twitter, by a lot of interaction they get on social media, by how they do well in esports, doing well in certain matches. They post about them, they get a lot of retweets, they get a lot of likes, all that stuff, right? Social media really shouldn't have this much power in our lives, but it's just how it is right now, you know? He definitely should apologize, because it's gonna look, it just makes it look better. I mean, he doesn't have to truly mean it. It's just kind of what people want to hear, you know? It's that thing where I've talked about before. People just kind of say, you know, fucking what you want them to say, and it just is what it is. Like, people just want you to say the nice things just because it sounds nice, even if you don't really truly mean it, you know? But that's just how I feel, you know? So this person says, no, if you are the CEO of a big company, you should be acting in a professional manner. Andrew Tate does not represent what gaming is about. G2 just announced an all-female team, then he does that. How do you think those female players are gonna feel seeing Andrew Tate partying with the CEO of your team? I mean, okay. So, it's his life. Who are we to judge him for who he hangs out with? Who gives anyone that right? Are you his dad, grandfather, best friend? In general, he's at a party having fun. Why does it affect everyone's life? He has a duty, as the literal CEO, to ensure his teams feel safe, equal, and comfortable. Seeing the CEO with Tate is going to achieve the opposite. Think a little. I mean, to be fair, do people really care that much, actually? You know? Oh my goodness. What does this guy say? I don't know why you think the Tate brothers have a hateful opinion on a woman. Not a single one has come out and said anything terrible about him, yet you believe the media saying he's a woman abuser and a hater. I mean, that's what I'm not going to end up covering, but this is just kind of how I'll wrap up this video. Once, just, you know, give my boy Warren some shout out. I do see where he's coming from, and I do. This is just a really weird, crazy, divisive situation, right? You know, people need to look at how it's the same thing with Cara Dune, right? It's the same thing with the Cara Dune situation, right? Who was portrayed by Gina Carano. Gina Carano said some stuff, and whether or not you agree with her, whether or not you think she was sticking it up to the woke left or whatever, some shit like that, she was in that position representing Disney. If you are in a position of power, you represent that company's values. It's just what it is. You know, he can do whatever he wants. He can. The problem here is that he's not some average, everyday Joe. You know, he runs G2 Esports, a big, prolific esports organization that is known worldwide at this point, you know? So it's not the same as some Tom, Dick, and Harry motherfucker on the street, you know? It's just how it's seen, you know? And how people will potentially have investors into G2. Maybe a certain investor wants to invest some money into G2, and then they go, oh, Ocelote partied with Andrew Tate. I don't really like that guy. I'm pulling my investment out. That, you know, like, that could have some serious repercussions for G2, because we know esport organizations kind of need sponsorships and people invest more money into them so they can get more money through other means, right? So I do agree with people. This could have long-term repercussions for G2. We'll just have to see how that plays out. I'm not saying that I want that, because that would feel that would just feel inherently bad for the people that are working for G2, because, you know, Ocelote needs to do well with how he makes business decisions for the people that are working for G2, gonna end up having their esports jobs, right? But that comes from him having this public image. People were, like, already abrasive at him for being the way he is, right? But this is a little bit more like, oh, okay, people are gonna start having some big issues with it. Now, I'm not saying Riot being owned by Tencent or the Saudi Arabia money, all that shit. There's so much shit I could really go over. none of that really matters for this right now. Just because people didn't really... Okay, this is what I'll say before I end this video. Is just because these other bad things exist, that doesn't make this okay. Now, I'm not saying I agree with this nor disagree with this. I'll make up my mind on this when I get closer to the Cloud9 podcast on Wednesday, okay? But just because other bad things in life go on, that doesn't make the bad thing happening right now okay or acceptable, you know? So, that's it. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. It was kind of like last minute because I told you guys I was going to take like a day off or like about 3 days off from the channel because I've been going very hard with League of Legends content pretty much all year with the podcast and shit like that. But I told you guys I have more videos coming out for you guys in this, like, you know, little mini break we get between like the end of the summer splits for you know, the LEC, LPL, LCK, and LCS, right? So I have other videos coming out for you guys, like I mentioned. The last video that I'll be doing for you guys is that channel update video. I have other videos coming out about some rumors that have been going on with certain players in the esports, you know, scene right now involving Team Liquid, Core JJ, 100 Thieves. There's another video or videos I have planned coming out. The reason why I haven't got a chance to do them yet because I've been very busy, obviously, and I kind of want to spread out the content because we're not going to have any league content come up until World starts next month, which is not too far away, but, you know, when you have, like, pretty much a 2-week gap and there's no, you know, there's no matches going on, it's like, well, what do you talk about? Well, you kind of talk about what's going on that people have been noticing, you know, on Twitter or Instagram or any big information that comes out on, like, say, a, you know, LCS or LEC's, you know, YouTube channel, actually. So, yeah. I have other videos coming out. Actually, I have a channel update video that I still have to record for you guys. But yeah, the Cloud9 podcast will be this Wednesday. We'll be talking about the LEC and talking about this situation more in full. Let me know what you guys think about the G2 Esports situation with Andrew Tate in the comment section below. See you guys later. Like, comment, and subscribe. Most of all, enjoy. I am MSK, and this is Esports Content Entertainment. All right, guys. Deuces.